The gentle whirring of the air conditioning in my office felt like a soft blanket of calmness, a stark contrast to the chaotic storm of thoughts swirling in my mind. As I, Anna, a 28-year-old lawyer, sat at my desk, I couldn't help but reflect on how different my life is now compared to the turbulent days of my childhood. Those memories, once locked away, still haunted me, even in the tranquility of my workspace. Suddenly, the peaceful ambience was shattered by the shrill ringing of my phone. Glancing at the caller ID, I saw an unknown number, yet there was something unsettlingly familiar about it. With a hesitant hand, I answered, my voice a blend of professionalism and caution. "Anna, it's your father," came the voice on the other end, tinged with nervousness. A chill ran down my spine. It had been years since I last heard his voice, a voice that used to bring me comfort and love, but now only stirred up feelings of betrayal and pain. "Why are you calling me?" I asked sharply, my words cutting through the silence that followed his greeting. His response, laden with desperation, revealed his plea for financial help. Anger boiled within me. After all these years of silence, he expected me to come to his aid now. "You stopped being my father a long time ago. You can't just call me now and expect me to help," I retorted, disbelief and resentment coloring my tone. His pleas only fueled the fire of resentment within me. As the conversation continued, old wounds reopened, and I couldn't help but confront him with the pain he had caused. The word Dad felt foreign on my tongue, a title he had forfeited long ago. But my childhood hadn't always been filled with bitterness. Before my mother's untimely death, our home was a haven of love and laughter. I remember her warmth, her stories, and her dreams that filled our days with joy. My father, once playful and caring, was a pillar of support in those happy times. However, everything changed with my mother's passing. The once vibrant house became a mausoleum of memories, each corner echoing with the absence of her laughter. My father's grief was palpable, but it seemed to fade too quickly, replaced by the presence of Marissa, a woman who would alter the course of our lives. I still remember the day my father introduced her, a day that marked the end of my innocence. Her presence was imposing, her smile hiding something sinister beneath its surface. From that moment on, our home was no longer a sanctuary, but a battlefield of emotions, where my father's choices tore apart the fabric of our family. If she took pleasure in seeing me suffer, a cruel reminder of the power she held over me, each day became a test of endurance, a battle between my longing for escape and the suffocating reality of my circumstances. Despite the facade I tried to maintain, the weight of Marissa's hostility bore down on me like a heavy burden. Her verbal assaults escalated into physical abuse, leaving me bruised and battered, both physically and emotionally. I became hyper-aware of her presence, constantly on edge, anticipating her next attack. Living in constant fear, I sought solace in the memories of happier times, clinging to the warmth of my mother's love like a lifeline. But those memories only served to highlight the stark contrast in my current reality, where every day felt like a struggle for survival. I longed for someone to see through Marissa's facade, to acknowledge the torment she inflicted upon me. Yet, when I finally mustered the courage to confide in my father, his dismissal only deepened my sense of isolation. His refusal to believe me, to acknowledge the truth of my suffering, left me feeling abandoned and alone. Even my grandmother's rare visits offered little respite, as I concealed the truth behind a mask of false smiles and shallow excuses. The guilt weighed heavily on me, knowing that I was deceiving her, yet unable to bear the thought of burdening her with the truth. As the days stretched into weeks and months, I found myself retreating further into myself, my once vibrant spirit dimmed by the relentless onslaught of Marissa's cruelty. Yet, even in the depths of despair, a flicker of defiance burned within me, a refusal to surrender to the darkness that threatened to consume me. For beneath the bruises and the tears, I remained resilient, a survivor determined to reclaim the light that had been extinguished from my life. And though the road ahead may be fraught with obstacles, I refuse to let Marissa's tyranny define me. For I am Anna, and my story is far from over. Steady but failing Grandma immediately sensed the urgency in my tone. "Anna dear, what's wrong?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. Tears welled up in my eyes as I struggled to find the words to explain the turmoil I was facing at home. "Grandma, it's Marissa. She's been hurting me." I finally managed to choke out, the weight of my confession heavy on my shoulders. I could hear the sharp intake of breath on the other end of the line, followed by a long pause. "Oh, Anna, why didn't you tell me sooner?" my grandmother exclaimed, her voice filled with a mixture of sadness and regret. "I had no idea things were so difficult for you." As I poured out my heart to my grandmother, recounting the abuse and the disbelief I faced at home, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. For the first time, I wasn't alone in my struggles. My grandmother listened attentively, offering words of comfort and reassurance. "We'll find a way to help you, Anna. You don't have to suffer in silence anymore," she said firmly, her determination giving me newfound hope. With her support, I knew I could finally break free from the prison of fear and isolation I had been living in. Over the coming days, my grandmother became my ally, working tirelessly to intervene on my behalf. Together, we sought help from authorities and support networks, determined to put an end to the abuse I had endured for far too long. It wasn't easy, and there were many obstacles along the way, but with my grandmother by my side, I found the strength to stand up for myself and demand the justice and safety I deserved. In the end, it was my grandmother's unwavering love and support that helped me break free from the cycle of abuse and reclaim my life. And though the scars of my past may never fully heal, I know that with her by my side, I can face whatever challenges the future may hold. The phone rang, interrupting the peaceful silence of my grandmother's house. With a mix of curiosity and apprehension, I answered, unsure of who would be on the other end. As soon as I heard my father's voice, a flood of emotions washed over me, memories of years past rushing back like a tidal wave. His words were a familiar blend of pleading and desperation, a stark contrast to the confident tone I had grown accustomed to in recent months. But this time, things were different. I was different. Standing in the sanctuary my grandmother had provided, I felt a newfound sense of strength coursing through me. "You can't do this, Anna. We're your family," my father pleaded, his words echoing with the weight of years of neglect and betrayal. But his pleas fell on deaf ears. I had made my decision, and nothing could sway me from it. As I hung up the phone, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure, a final chapter in the tumultuous saga that had been my life. The echoes of the past still lingered, but they no longer held power over me. I was free, liberated from the chains of my past and ready to embrace whatever the future held. In the days that followed, I found myself reflecting on the journey that had brought me to this moment. The pain and suffering I had endured seemed like distant memories now, overshadowed by the resilience and strength that had carried me through it all. And as I stood in the house that was now mine, surrounded by the memories of my grandmother's love, I knew that I was finally home. Home not just in the physical sense, but in the deepest recesses of my soul. For I had learned that home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And in that moment, surrounded by the echoes of the past and the promise of the future, I felt more at home than I ever had before. As I settled into my newfound sense of empowerment, I began to explore the possibilities that lay before me. With the house now mine and a substantial inheritance at my disposal, the world seemed full of endless opportunities. One of the first decisions I made was to honor my grandmother's memory by preserving the sanctuary she had created. I spent days sorting through her belongings, cherishing each item as a piece of her legacy. With the help of a trusted real estate agent, I carefully considered the future of the house, weighing the options of selling or renting it out. In the end, I decided to transform the house into a refuge for others who had experienced similar hardships. With the guidance of social service organizations, I established a program to provide temporary housing and support services for survivors of domestic abuse. It was my way of paying forward the love and compassion my grandmother had shown me, ensuring that her legacy lived on in the lives of others. But my journey didn't end there. Empowered by my newfound independence, I embarked on a mission to advocate for change in the legal system, pushing for reforms to better protect victims of abuse and hold perpetrators accountable. Through speaking engagements, lobbying efforts, and grassroots activism, I raised awareness about the realities of domestic violence and advocated for policies that prioritize the safety and well-being of survivors. In the process, I found a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I had never experienced before. Each small victory, whether it was passing legislation or providing support to a survivor in need, reaffirmed my belief in the power of resilience and compassion. But amidst the successes, there were also challenges and setbacks. The journey towards justice and equality was fraught with obstacles, and there were times when I felt discouraged and overwhelmed. Yet, in those moments, I drew strength from the memory of my grandmother and the unwavering determination she had instilled in me. And so, armed with courage and conviction, I continued to fight for a world where no one would have to endure the pain and suffering that I had experienced. It was a journey fueled by hope and fueled by the belief that, together, we could create a future where love triumphed over fear and where every voice was heard and valued. As I look back on the twists and turns of my journey, I am filled with gratitude for the lessons I have learned and the people who have supported me along the way. And though the road ahead may be long and challenging, I face it with a renewed sense of purpose and a steadfast determination to make a difference in the world. As I delved deeper into my advocacy work, I found myself connecting with survivors from all walks of life. Their stories resonated with me on a profound level, serving as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of standing up for what is right. Through support groups and community outreach programs, I created a network of survivors who shared their experiences, offered support, and empowered each other to break free from the cycle of abuse. Together, we formed a tight-knit community bound by a common goal: to create a world where everyone felt safe, supported, and valued. But as I immersed myself in this work, I couldn't help but confront my own demons. The scars of my past still lingered, casting a shadow over my present and threatening to engulf me in darkness once more. It was a constant battle to reconcile the trauma I had endured with the newfound strength and resilience I had discovered within myself. Yet, amidst the struggle, there were moments of profound healing and growth. Through therapy and self-reflection, I learned to confront my fears and embrace my vulnerabilities. I discovered the power of forgiveness, not for the sake of my abusers, but for my own peace of mind. And I found solace in the knowledge that I was not alone, that there were others who understood my pain and stood with me in solidarity. As my advocacy work gained momentum, I began to attract attention from the media and the public eye. My story became a symbol of hope and resilience, inspiring others to speak out against injustice and demand change. It was a responsibility I embraced wholeheartedly, knowing that my voice had the power to spark meaningful dialogue and drive positive action. But with visibility came scrutiny, and I soon found myself navigating the complexities of fame and public perception. There were those who praised me for my courage and dedication, while others questioned my motives and doubted my authenticity. It was a humbling reminder of the importance of staying true to myself and remaining steadfast in my convictions, regardless of the opinions of others. Through it all, I remained committed to my mission, knowing that the work I was doing was making a difference in the lives of countless individuals. Whether it was lobbying for legislative change, providing support to survivors, or simply lending a listening ear to those in need, I knew that every action I took brought us one step closer to a world free from violence and oppression. And so, I continued to fight, fueled by the memories of my past and the hope for a brighter future. For in the end, it wasn't just about seeking justice for myself, it was about creating a legacy of love, compassion, and empowerment that would endure